If you're hung up on someone and you're thinking about them more than they're thinking about you, that is never a good situation to be in. It's never helpful to be so hung up on someone that it actually diminishes your happiness and your peace and your quality of life. So if you're thinking about someone more than they're thinking of you, and you're stuck and fixated on wanting this to work out, wanting this relationship, wanting them to call, wanting them to think about you, wanting all this stuff, if you're caught up in that, then I want you to watch this video. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do when you're hung up on another person so that you can free yourself up, so that you can get more excited about your life, more excited about relationships in general, and also make yourself more attractive to that person. The first thing you've got to do if you find yourself being hung up on another person is you've got to direct your attention elsewhere. You see, you might feel like this person has your attention and there's nothing you could do about it. Maybe it's an ex, maybe you just recently went through a breakup, or maybe it's a crush, or maybe it's somebody you're interested in, or maybe it's someone you've been on a few dates with and you want them to call and you're thinking about whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter what the circumstances are. What matters is that fixating and focusing on this person is actually hurting you. Not only is it hurting your spirit and making you less excited about your life and less inspired in general, but it's also probably making you less attractive to that person. Because when somebody is overly fixated on a person, that's usually what happens, is they become less attractive to that person. So thinking about and dwelling on this person isn't doing you any good at all. The first thing you have to do is get your attention off of that person. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to make some suggestions, and they might sound super simple and super easy, and they are, but you have to kind of make yourself do it in the beginning, because you've developed a habit of thinking about this person. You've developed a habit of paying attention to this person. So in the beginning, you might have to force yourself to follow these instructions a little bit. But if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to just kind of make yourself follow these instructions, you'll start to direct your attention elsewhere, because you actually have the power to do that. You see, you might feel like you're stuck being fixated on this person, but you're not stuck. You've just developed a habit of thinking about them in this way. So you've got to kind of force yourself to start thinking about something else. This is my first suggestion. My first suggestion is to make a list of anything and everything that you could do that would excite you, that would inspire you, that would make you want to do something other than sit around and think about this person, that would make you want to do something other than look at your phone. Now, again, I understand this sounds overly simple, but don't underestimate the power of doing this exercise. I want you to sit down and really make a list. See if you can get 100 things on that list. See if you can get 200 things on that list. Just anything that would make you excited, anything you could do that you could focus your attention on, that you could spend time doing other than thinking about that person. And make as many items as you can. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go do everything on that list, but what I want you to do is start to recognize how big the world is and how much there is going on outside of that person. You see, I want you to hear this. This might be a really great person. They might be a really awesome person, but in the grand scheme of things, no matter how great they are, they're not really that relevant to you or they're relevant in the sense that they're a human being and they have purpose, but they're not really relevant to your life if you don't end up having a relationship with them, if it doesn't go anywhere, if it doesn't become what you want it to be, or if they're an ex and you don't get back together with them. In the grand scheme of things, they're not that relevant to your life. So I want you to understand that. When you start fixating on somebody, your world gets very small. Your world gets very tiny in a way, and it becomes fixated about that person. But I want you to start to think about how big the world is. So make a list. You could jump out of a plane. You could go shopping. You could go get a cup of coffee. You could call a friend. You could go adopt a turtle. You could go, you could go out for a hike in nature. You could go swimming. You could go to the beach. You could go to the mall. You could go, there are so many possible things you could do. There's no right or wrong. But just think about some things you could do that would get your attention focused on that person, or focus away from that person. The next thing to do is do some of those things. Now, maybe you start small. Maybe you say, I'm just gonna go get a cup of coffee. Maybe you're not ready to jump out of a plane, but I'm just gonna go get a cup of coffee. I'm just gonna go for a drive. I'm just gonna call a friend. I'm just gonna go bowling. I'm just gonna go shopping. I'm just going to do something. I'm going to do something besides focus on this person, besides think about this person. I'm going to intentionally do something else. And after that, do something else. And after that, do something else. And after that, do something else. And keep doing things that direct your attention away from this person. Keep doing things that have you look elsewhere. Start training yourself to remember and to recognize and to think that there is more to life than paying attention to this person. There's more to life than thinking about this person. This person might call. They might want to see you. They might end up reaching out. They might end up saying, listen, I really want to see you. Like, that might happen. But what you want to do is be like, I'm going to be so involved in my own life. I'm going to be so involved in my own passion. I'm going to be so involved in the things that make me amazing. And I'm going to be so busy living my awesome life that if they call, they call. And if they don't, that's fine. And I'm going to be so entertained in myself and in my life that it's not really going to be that big of a deal. But then this is the last thing I want you to do, and this can go hand in hand with what we've talked about, is I want you to go meet some new people. Now, dating apps are a great way to do this. If you're actually going out and doing things like I talked about, like going places, doing things that excite you, doing things that inspire you, being creative and doing the things that make you special, that make you amazing. If you're actually doing that stuff and throwing yourself into it, you're probably going to naturally meet other people. I think dating apps are a great way to meet people. People say all the time, like, oh, I hate online dating, I hate dating apps. Like, look, you don't have to marry the person you meet, but actually just getting into the flow of going out and meeting other people, getting into the flow of reminding yourself that there are so many other people in the world besides this person. Even if you have one date with them, even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if it's just a cup of coffee, actually going out and meeting people, whether you do it organically by meeting people who have common interests with you and the things that you're doing, whether you get on a dating app, but find a way to start connecting with new people. Instead of having a world that is as big as this one person who's not really that significant, make your world so big and full of so many people. Start to train yourself to think that, listen, this person's awesome. I would love it if something went somewhere with them. But if it doesn't, I'm going to have a life that is so full of so many awesome people that it's not really going to matter. It's not really going to be that big of a deal if I don't hear from them again, because I'm going to train myself to recognize that the world is full of awesome things to do and the world is full of amazing people to connect with. And I don't have to be hung up on this one person. I don't have to be fixated and thinking about this one person all the time. And if you could train yourself to do that, again, you're going to have to force yourself a little bit in the beginning. But if you could make yourself do it, you get into the flow of that. Every time you catch yourself thinking about that person, you say, no, I'm not going to think about him. I'm going to go bowling. I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to go for a hike. I'm going to go to the pet store and adopt a pet. I'm going to do like whatever you do that makes you excited and that makes you inspired. Take your attention off of that person and do something else. Before I end this video, I want to invite you to a very special presentation. Go to myconsciousrelationship.com to find out more about it. I have a free presentation available for you for a limited time only. Don't waste any time. myconsciousrelationship.com, and I'll see you there.